Okay, let's tune up. No, let's not tune up. Let's make sure we're in tune because you've already tuned up. So
I did
everybody,
it this morning. You should be fine.
everybody play an E chord. Good. Nice. See what a difference that makes? It's like a choir that's warmed up already.
Feel like a guitarist, like you said. No, that's not right. Here we go.
So, last time we went around and just everybody kind of said where they were at, but this is your first chance. So why don't you tell us kind of what you're looking for since you started this whole thing?
I'm looking for God, brother.
That's great.
No, just really inspired to learn Swami's music. You know, that's and just the support for the choir, support for kirtans, and just keeping the music strong moving forward. Yeah.
Okay, great. Did you see the video?
I saw it, but I didn't watch it.
That's okay. You know it's there though.
Yeah.
And we're doing the same thing here for this.
Cool.
So this will be our last for a while, and then we'll see what happens after that. So this is the time to just go ahead and ask any questions that you've had. And you started with one, which was, why don't you repeat it?
First I wondered if I had 440 when I made my guitar tune, I'd say 140, and wondered if that and tuned it to that, and wasn't sure that that was correct, but it was.
Yay!
And then I wanted to know, I know A chant, it has 2 chords, and I strum it, and in learning the picking process last time, I wondered how to convert that listen to the picking system.
I'll show you what I tend to do with it. I'll move this. And this kind of ties in with something I wanted to show you. So last class we talked about just picking the chords really clean, just getting used to that, and we talked about it mostly in terms of strumming, just make sure that each string sounds real clean, that it's not muffled or whatever, and you just get used to that. The more you practice, the more your hands just kind of know to grab it and all that stuff. But I want to talk now about chords in that same way. So if I say pluck a G chord, go ahead and do that.
Pluck.
Pluck.
G chord.
And I mean just once, like this.
So you're just plucking the top string?
Yeah, so that's the question. So if you're plucking a G chord, what would you do with your thumb and what would you do with the other fingers? Your thumb would be on the root, the G, which would be this, the bottom note, right? And then your other 3 fingers you can choose, but I usually do the top ones there. So you just top in pitch, but bottom in direction.
This is the root to G down here?
This is.
Oh, that's what I thought.
This is a G. This is a G.
Okay.
But you do the bottom one for like that. So if you were to pluck a G chord, okay, and then a C chord, okay, and where would your thumb be? What string?
On the lowest string.
Yeah. And so now what are these string numbers?
1, 2, 3, so the 5th.
So where would your thumb be?
5.
5. Right. Okay. How about A?
Why is it on 5?
Would that also be 5?
Yep.
Yeah.
D?
E, that's 4.
Yep.
How'd you work again?
A is 5 because now it happens that the E is also part of the A chord, but you really want the bottom one to be the A note for the chord, if you can. Okay, and then F can be either of 2 things. Okay, an F chord, if you're doing the easy one, it would be the 4th string.
So are you barring the first?
If you're barring it, then it would be the top one.
So on the easy version you're doing where you do it's the
4th.
and you're pressing the
That is a big
first and second
It is.
string with your
That's why I was trying to
Yep.
do that one.
Okay, so
That's
you're
right.
just
Kind of
doing
fun.
this.
And so what this is imitating the bar.
Right.
It's just that it's allowing you to only do the bottom 4 strings.
Gotcha.
Now again, if you watch somebody like Ramesha and they play an F chord, they're pretty much always doing this. So and so listen to the difference. Okay, so this is a bar. Well, no, we'll do the small one first. This is F chord. Sounds nice. You do a full one. full.
Sweeter.
Nice, yeah.
So if you can, it's just nice, but you don't have to sweat it. It's just, you know, sometimes if the chords are moving quickly, you might just have to grab one as quick as you can without trying to do the whole bar thing. But you know, it's just whatever your hand gets used to. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is, when you have a piece of music, let me see that book there. You just pick one at random, and let's say, and I will answer your question. No, I've not forgotten. Okay, just open this at random. Living water. Why not? And it says capo 3, so that's what I'm going to do. Otherwise, it'll sound like it's in a funny key. So, capo 3. Now, I know you're not looking at this, but I'm just saying you could go. You could pluck the chords. He who would slake his thirst now and forever, let him not fill his cup here from this well. It's just a good habit to get into when you're going through a song, just to listen to the chords and make sure they sound really pretty just by plucking them cleanly, you know. Now once you're used to doing that, then you can get into picking, because your hands already have the nice clean chord formation.
So you have your chord here, and you're doing the root and the bottom string.
Well, I'm doing thumb and 3. So thumb and 3.
When you do them, you're doing all 3 of them down there. Got it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I thought you were just doing the bottom one.
Okay, so now to answer your question about listen, 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 I'll show you what I do. And that's the easiest chant in the whole world,
Two whole chords.
because it's 2 whole chords, and then when you're doing it on a harmonium, you move your finger once, only one finger, one note to the next. That's great.
That's why that's the one I know.
Yeah, so this is what I do. So now I'll do the root. So you tell me what I'm doing. Now, there's no rule about how you pick. There's a zillion. There's many different ways of playing guitar as there are people. But this is just one, you know, sample to try to follow if you're learning and stuff. So I just
Okay, so those higher strings, you're not just going up, down, and up. You're going down and then.
I'm going like
Down and then up 2.
so 6 3 2 3 1 2 3 2. You know.
1, 2, 3.
But
2,
really,
yeah.
it's whatever sounds good, whatever floats your boat. So just try different methods of picking and see what sounds good. Because that's really the thing you want to do, is have it sound good. And there's no one rule that fits all. It's just so. But I mean, in a pinch. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. You're just plucking the chord, okay? And then if you want to do it again.
Yeah, like so you're picking your rhythm too.
Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Whatever. But you can start off by plucking a whole chord sometimes. Listen, listen, listen to. Just start doing that. Pluck the chord and then just pick a few strings. So let's all do that together. So G. Let's just pluck the chord. And see if you can pluck different strings than the one I'm doing. Okay, let's get an orchestra going here. And you can strum. So I'll start over. I'll strum now. Pick there.
Are you strumming or are you doing
No,
picking, strumming?
I'm just. It's nice. It's nice to have variety. So, if you're all picking, and David was starting to strum, this is what I would do. So. Now, last time we talked about Just keep the motion steady. You can vary the emphasis of it, but just, you'll notice when chanters are doing that, the hand is just, a regular rhythm. Doesn't that sound nice? Now you keep doing that. Now somebody else pick. So, did that answer your question?
Fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else have a question about that or anything else?
I did have another question about, but I think you answered it when you plucked all of them, where the D7 and the E came right too close together. And what was that song we did last time?
I don't know.
What's it like?
It was a long time ago.
Life is a Dream.
Life's a dream, okay. Oh,
And
yeah.
there's one quick change there.
Okay, let's look at it.
Life is a dream in C or A? A.
Well, see, I don't understand that at all.
Well, we'll talk about that then. But let's,
Here it is.
okay, and it was in,
It's here.
yeah. Okay, so this is an A. And thank you for that. Okay. So, time like a stream carries our burdens. Okay, what she's talking about is this has a D major 7th chord,
Okay.
which is really pretty. Do you know, anybody know how to do a D major 7th?
Yeah.
No.
Is that D major?
Like this.
Ooh,
like
you're
this.
doing it.
Wait.
Well, you explained it.
almost.
I watched your video today.
Yeah.
Do it in the D major 7.
Okay,
Like this here.
so like when you're
Like
doing
A, but
when you're doing a D
one.
chord,
Oh,
well,
one down.
it's, well, just watch. It goes in sequence like that. It's like an F chord, but you're not playing the bottom string.
You're
Oh,
not
wait.
playing the bottom string.
Correct.
Which
So-
one?
Oh, so that's
It's a
and
D.
So this is minor.
Oh, see? So instead of F, you get this suspended thing. Oh, just longing, So that's,
So it's like a C without the bar?
now, I'm lying. That's actually an F major 7th chord.
Because that what that drawing I have down there is what it says in the guitar book. See that diagram?
Uh-huh.
Is
So
that
but what you drew is D7th. This is D major 7th.
Yeah.
They're different chords. Now you may ask, what's the difference? Now if I had a keyboard, I would point it out to you, but there's a chord called D major, and you would think that if you add a 7th to that, you'd call that a D major 7th, but you don't, because there's a D7th. The major 7th refers to where that 7th is. This is sort of more advanced here, but all right. Since I'm talking about it, I should have brought a keyboard, but
I have one on my phone probably.
yeah, I actually have one too. Now that we're talking about that.
I was just kind of ignoring that and doing an E on
No, you don't want to ignore that.
They're so close.
I know they are.
I mean, they're barely a heartbeat to pluck between.
Okay, so listen up. So this is a D chord. All right, that's a D major chord. And any major chord, you just call it by the letter.
Okay.
So, now, if it were a minor chord, so that sounds kind of happy, right? Just sort of like,
happy.
everybody just sing a note that's in that chord. Oh. It's happy. Okay, now, ooh, you just do a minor chord. So this is D minor. What makes it a major chord?
Higher.
Minor. No, so this is D major. Happy. This is D minor. It's just that middle note just goes down a half step. But that doesn't matter so much. That's more like a keyboard class. But here's my point. Listen up. This is a D major chord, and this is a seventh. So that's a seventh chord, but this is a major seventh. Major seventh is another half step up.
Oh, so D7 and then D
Which note
major
is-
7 is 2 steps up.
D major 7, D7 is this,
You got the C?
okay? It's like a barbershop chord. D, so D, that's a D major chord,
Yeah.
but
And you got
a
the C.
D7th chord is not called a D major 7, it's called D7, so. But a D major 7th, that last note goes up a half step and it sounds like this. And that's that,
Sparkly.
you know, it's just that
So-
longing chord.
The 7 is a step higher than A. What's that note? What's the note?
I will tell you, that
You put
note,
a C and a C sharp. at
so
the end.
for a D chord,
Uh-huh.
you're doing D, and it's a half step below D.
D.
So it's a C sharp
Oh,
or D flat.
okay.
D major 7th, the last note is always just a half step off of the D, or whatever.
Is that
So,
it? Is that it?
that's very nice.
Is that it? Because I just moved my finger down. Is that what you're supposed to do?
Well, that's the idea, is you just kind of find out where that note is, but you can find it just by looking online and finding
So
where
you got-
D major 7th chord is.
D.
And
So it's a D with, instead of the index on the second string, it's on the first string, right? Is that right?
I'm going to admit that I don't
Yeah.
remember what the D7th chord
But
is.
that's it.
Let's see.
That's what the D7 is right there.
So, well, this is D, right?
Yeah.
And this is D7th.
How is it?
Right? No, this is D7.
That's
D minor.
No, D minor is here.
D minor is,
So you're doing the first,
okay, this is D,
yeah.
this is D7th.
Oh, here.
It sounds like a Beatles song. But where we want to go is to find that C sharp. Ooh. What are you doing?
The D minor
Ooh, doesn't that
7.
sound nice? So what are you playing? So she's
Like
playing
an
these 3 strings
yeah.
plus the D
Plus the what?
plus this D.
So it starts in the 4th string.
Fourth string.
4th string is open, but 1, 2, and 3 are on the 2nd fret. And now you want to do the bottom 3 strings. You're playing an A chord now.
Oh, that's what I thought she was doing. Oh, okay, bottom 3.
Bottom 3 strings. I'm just using one finger for all
Okay.
3 strings, and play the open D. Okay, but be sure to press. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you press all 3 strings, you could do it with 3 separate fingers if you want. But, okay, so that all brings us to that in this solo version of Life is a Dream. Her question was, it goes, life is a dream. The eerie 7th. Time like a stream carries our burdens away. So it's a quick change.
You guys need this.
No, he sent it to me. Thank you.
So this is,
From the D7
what
one.
key is this?
No?
A.
So the one that starts with a C.
That's Life is a Dream in the key of C.
Key is C.
Mhm.
Okay.
And she just happens to have, from the Ananda Songbook, a solo version in the key of A.
I see.
But it doesn't really matter what key. Her question was, when there's a quick change on a chord, like there is carries our burdens away,
Yeah.
then how do you do that if you're finger picking? Is that your question? Okay.
Didn't you
So-
did
Or
already?
anything when you're playing it.
Let's find out. I'm just going to do spontaneously, see what happens. Life is a dream. Now remember last week we were saying start on the root note. Life is a, and then you can alternate. Dream. I'm a stream, carries our burdens. Here's what I would do. Away.
So you just pluck it.
Just pluck it.
Yeah.
Because you want to give the chord its due, but you don't have time to pick different things. Now really, you could do those three or all four, whatever. But
You could just pluck those three.
carries our burdens away.
Does it have the tonality on it?
Yeah. It's right here.
This is page 152. 152 of the songbook. Okay. I don't know if you have the actual songbook on your
Yes.
phone there. Okay, good. So page 152, solo version in A. So let's try that together. Now, so do we know all these chords?
Can I ask you? You said that A, that's the root, and then you do.
Here's what I did.
Oh, you do this one.
I'm
Okay.
alternating. Now again, I want you to listen. If you have a chance to hear Ramesh or somebody, I talk to him because he's up there in the front a lot during
Yeah.
service or other things. But Prashad is another one. If you listen to them picking, they'll always do those bass notes really clean. It's almost like the bass itself is just this beautiful melody. And it's never muddy, you know, so. Now here's an intro. Here's how you would intro a song, for example. You would just do. Life is a dream, time like a stream, carries our burdens away. Never despair, joys everywhere. Love can befriend you today. Free from all care, like birds on the air, soar above griefs and worries, seek joy and be gay. Now just pluck the chords. Life is a dream, time like a stream, carries our burdens away. Never despair, joys everywhere. Go back to picking. Love can befriend you today. Free from all care, like birds on the air, soar above griefs and worries, seek joy and be gay. Now pick with me, just as an intro, and do that alternating bass. A, D, A, D, okay?
Oh, I see. You're talking to strings, not chords.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Now, if you're doing a chord, you start with the root, and you typically go down to the next string. But if you only have, like, if you're doing a D chord or an F chord, and you only have 4 strings that you're starting with, you can't really go down anymore. So the question is, does the next note up sound good or not? So let's find out. So on a D chord, let's just do a D chord.
Oh,
Now it turns out that that next chord down is A, which is part of a D chord.
so it works.
So it works,
So
but
you
it
would
doesn't
start with
always
that one?
work. So let's do an F chord, and then we'll play the next note down. So
Doesn't work.
it's not part of the chord, unless you're doing a bar. So you just have to make sure that it sounds good.
So within a D,
D,
you will still the first one you will play this
yes,
one.
start
and
with
then
the D,
the second
then you
one.
can go down. Just have a little variety. Now also on an A chord, let's try that. Let's go down after we do the A note. Here we go. It's okay, because E is part of an A chord. But does it sound good? That's up to you.
Yeah.
Try going down instead. I mean, you know, up to the, any way you can nicer. Because if you leave that root note on the bottom, so to speak, it kind of feels better. It's like, it's supported better.
What do you mean?
So I'm talking about, like that's A chord, right? I have a choice here of either going to the D or to the E string for the second. So let's hear the difference. Now let's do the other way.
First one
Yeah,
sounds
right.
better.
First one.
Sounds like Johnny Cash or something,
Yeah, that's right.
Which is okay, but if you're doing Life is a Dream, yeah. So it's really all about what sounds good to your ears, and just play around and find out. But generally speaking, if you just are used to knowing where the chords are and plucking them with your thumb on the bass note, then you'll kind of do well with those 4 strings. And then you just get used to which ones you can go to the lower note on and which you can't.
And the bass note is a root note.
Yeah. At first. I mean, the first one you pick, yes.
Right.
The second one you can alternate. Okay, so that's enough on that, I think. What other questions might you have?
I have a really simple question.
Uh-huh.
Posture.
Yeah.
I mean, simple because we were doing a kirtan last night, and I could feel that my shoulder, my shoulder starts hurting a little bit, like I'm holding the guitar.
Yep.
What is a real
Great
relaxed
question.
way?
Okay, so there's different ones for different folks, different strokes, So acoustic guitarists, because they have a particular way of doing it, you'll find they often have depending on who plays acoustic guitar?
I think
Right.
we all have.
Isn't it all
Fondue.
acoustic?
This is all acoustic.
Oh,
Yeah. I'm talking about like
Oh, famous.
classic guitar.
Classic.
That's what I'm talking
This
about.
one.
They'll typically have a little footstool,
Oh.
and I forget. Yeah, that's why. Because they're kind of holding it up like this,
Right.
and
Plays
doing a
it like
particular
this.
thing. But for this kind of guitar, it's typically this way.
yeah.
And if you're sitting on the ground, then you're just sitting on the ground. So you just have to figure out what's comfortable for you.
So with your arm, for example, what I found myself doing last night, and it could be just tension, I was keeping this arm, I was holding the guitar, this was pulling this out. So
Well, I think probably it's just a matter of practice where you find a place that's comfortable.
yeah.
You don't want to be having to hold your guitar like this strap is really useful when you're standing up. If you were to play like this without a strap, you'd have to hold the guitar and it would be really tense. My shoulder's really tense here.
Right.
Well, same thing when you're sitting down like this. You want to be in a comfortable place where you're not having to hold the guitar from going anywhere. So right now, this is kind of well balanced. I can just play and focus on the strings instead of the guitar going wonky.
Right.
So just experiment with that.
Right.
Yeah. Any other questions so far? Let's play something.
Even how to position their wrist is.
Well, last time I saw your video, you talked a little bit about strumming.
Yeah.
That's always a tricky part for me. I feel
Okay.
like I'm playing and then I get distracted and then I'm like, okay. I don't know, like I just lose the rhythm.
Pick an easy song that you all know or that you all have with chords.
Big frog, little frog.
That's fun. I don't know any
An easy song?
Oh God, no. How about your door?
Yeah, okay, beautiful. That's it.
Let's try that.
Oh God, beautiful.
Oh God, beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Stop. Stop.
There. This is only the songs, right? There's no chance.
It's a chant, so it's not in that songbook. But it's good to bring your chant book too. I hadn't thought of that. Okay, what Ari's doing is it. Now just watch what she's doing. Her hand is just a continual motion. It's not varying. Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to play the words. And what I mean by that is just keep this motion going. But I want the strum emphasis, whether it's down or up, to be on the words, just so you can get used to that. But keep this going. So let me see what I'm talking about here. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At my feet. not going chunk, chunk, chunk. I'm just, the hand's moving, but I'm putting the emphasis where I want to. And that's what makes it kind of interesting. So,
I'm not getting what you mean by the
okay.
words.
What
Which
so
words?
when you would play the chant, it would be instead of like, you know,
Yeah. Emphasizing the word.
it's
you're
like, oh
strumming.
God, beautiful. There is a tendency to emphasize the downbeat of each, you know.
Sort of the chord.
Right hand's
Yeah.
like,
Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. At thy feet, oh, I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. In the forest thou art king. In the forest thou art king. In the mountain thou art high. So you get comfortable with strumming up as well as down for emphasis.
Just a lower string.
Yeah. Whenever you want. And I mean, when you're in a group, you know, you can just kind of emphasize, you can fill in here and there. You don't want to draw attention to yourself, like, ooh, look at me, you know, but you want to just like fill it in, make it interesting, you know? But the main thing is you want to have the ability to do whatever you want to do. So don't just be locked into, you know, it's like on a harmonium, people who are just learning may think that you have to pump it in rhythm, but you don't. It's, you know, it's a bellows and you're just adding air to it. Like I do this because this is a bagpipe, right? But you know, this is harmonium. But the same thing. You just, all you do is pump it whenever you want extra volume, not when you want a beat. I mean, are you following me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so with this also, you're just doing a nice rhythm because it's the most relaxed thing you can do. And then within that rhythm of up and down, you can emphasize different things. You can emphasize the upbeat or the downbeat, you know, or just, you can do, oh God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful, if you want. God, beautiful, oh God, beautiful, at thy feet. You can do whatever you want. I do bow, at thy feet, oh, I do bow. Now, what I want you to do, pick this. Okay, if you have a pick. Everybody have a pick?
I have an extra pick if you want an extra pick.
Yo, pick
Not the one in your mouth, though.
Come on!
oh, okay. Tricky part.
picks all around.
Okay, so it's okay. I got it. Okay.
So
How
I
do you
want.
use these?
Yeah, I know.
Really
Like,
bad.
really weird.
Can I use
Yeah,
this
but
one?
I don't want you to strum with the pick. I want you to pick with the pick.
Oh, that's something.
So somebody can strum. Somebody can go. Well, I will. Yeah. So I want you to just pick random strings, but pick them within the chord. Don't pick any bad notes. Good.
Can't do it with it.
So that's the next level. It's just learning to pick cleanly different strings. So let's try that. I'll join you. So. I want to hear the bass note really clean. It's tricky to pick the bass note, isn't it? To get that pick right there.
Wait,
The right
like
note.
with this one, I have like more freedom with my fingers.
Yes, you do.
It's just like fun.
Yeah.
And that's okay. You know.
So
if you-
when you're picking with the pick, right? Are you just like clicking it a little bit, or are you actually like?
I'm picking the top of the note down. Well, actually, I'm doing it both up and down, but it's. Yeah, you can go up or down. So
Wait,
let's.
what's the best way to hold
You hold it between these two fingers,
them?
but you hold it in such a way that the point is pointing directly at the string. And you have about that much a pick. A little more. That's good. And the pick, at first the pick will go flying, which is why we have these things, because you can just grab another one real fast when it goes flying all over the place.
And you just plug in the strings that comprise the big thing.
Yeah, so let's start off by picking the bass note. No matter what else you do, when the chord changes, pick the right bass note, okay? Let's try it.
Let's start.
No matter what
Let's
you
start
do.
there.
G, what do you want?
So it's key of C, so it's Oh God Beautiful. That's C, G. Now we'll do it in rhythm,
You're just
okay?
doing,
Oh God Beautiful. I don't care what else you pick, but just make sure you get the bass note when it's time, all right?
C, so it doesn't matter.
Oh God Beautiful, oh God Beautiful, oh God Beautiful, oh God Beautiful. At thy feet, oh I do bow.
What is A minor?
At thy
What is
feet,
what? A minor?
oh I do bow. So you're having to find it,
Yep.
okay?
Is A minor 5 or
A minor is 5. Yeah. Okay, let's just play it, and then you can pick, or you can do the bass note, or you can strum, or whatever you want to do. Let's just have fun, actually. Yeah. Okay, Arya's doing the intro. That's good. And now let's all come in. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. At thy feet, oh I do bow. At thy feet, oh I do bow. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Oh God, beautiful. Okay, what did you learn?
I learned how to hold the pick correctly.
Uh-huh.
I was like, this actually works. I don't know what I was doing before. I was just like, couldn't make it work.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. And the other thing is, when you're strumming like that and you get to those chords that are only 4 notes, like the F if you're cheating, or the D, Are you used to just strumming the bottom 4 notes only? So it's clean? Oops, sorry. So like, instead of the whole thing, because that sounds muddy. So just the bottom 4, or barred, that's fine too. But if you're doing a D chord, then just the bottom 4. And notice what that really is. It's your fingers are in the position of a barred C chord, except that it's really hard to do a barred C chord. So it's just a.
What do you mean? Say that again?
So the D,
Yeah.
you're playing this essentially. So you're you're only doing the bar on the lower 3 strings, because what it really is a C chord played here.
Oh wow.
You see? So it's like 1, 2, 3. That's the D chord that you're playing used to. It's like, it's very interesting, this instrument, where it's like you just have
possibilities.
all these possibilities,
and
and you can do them in different places if you're just like that kind of really good guitarist.
Wow.
It's a very efficient. I haven't done an ukulele yet, but anybody else play ukulele? Okay.
Yeah, I have a ukulele.
Do you?
I like it.
Okay. All right. So we got about 10 minutes left. So what are the other things?
You film
Capo.
You film
Yes,
Capo.
to bring our
music.
capos.
Oh, I
Yeah.
like that one.
Yeah?
I like that one.
I wanted you to bring your capos so that when we do a song that's capo 2, we can all play it.
Ooh.
And we know that the music will designate that?
Well, it will. At the top, it'll say capo 2. Or like with that song that we looked at before, what was it?
Life is a Dream.
No, before that even. The one we just opened at random and played.
Living Water.
Living Water. That was
Capo 3.
3.
capo 3. Now, do you know why some things are like keyboard one thing and capo another thing?
No.
Why would you think? Think about
It's
it.
easier to play.
Exactly.
Or
So
sing?
if a piano is in like the key of F sharp or something, then it's really hard to, it's easy on a keyboard to change, but it's not easy on a guitar to change. Unless you have a capo and you just play simple chords in a different position.
Oh, because otherwise you'd have to be barring those chords.
You'd have to play all kinds of obscure chords. Now, I saw Prashad once without a capo,
Yes,
just,
you did.
and it's like, okay, I'm impressed. But
The guy who learns a harp in a few months, right?
Mhm. Yep. So anyway, and I mean, personally, although I've had all different kinds of capos, I like the kind that you can just grab with one hand
Yes.
and just stick it on.
These are double-handed.
They're double-handed. They're the best.
Ah,
The shove ones, I mean, they really grab it tight.
yeah.
But if you're trying to do something fast, this is
Right.
just a nice quick thing. So either way,
Nice,
And
yeah.
this one's even different than that one.
that's pretty, yeah. The ones that you have to like really, stretch the thing, and it's like nobody wants to wait for that.
In a pencil.
This just snaps on pretty
I've
quick.
seen
but
that one.
Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
really-
that's not a bad idea.
Because
Yeah.
you put the pencil
What's-
and
what
the
it's
rubber
for.
band all around.
Pencil and a rubber band.
Yeah.
That's a one-handed. That's a one-handed trick, right?
Doesn't it change the pitch you're in? Or?
That's the whole point, is it changes the pitch. You can play chords in that new position.
What are you doing?
But your music will say that, or that will. You'll see it'll be harmonium one
It's
thing
nice.
and guitar another
Vibrant.
thing.
Loud.
That one's all the same. But flip the pages and look for something that has both. Keep going.
There.
There.
Oh, that one. Let's learn that one.
Brave the brave. Yeah, what is it?
Let's do it.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Brave of the
fine.
People. Sure.
Do you have it, David?
Chord.
It's no capo.
No
No
capo.
capo.
I'll sing.
Why?
Because I can't play it.
Well, let's look at what it takes to play it. Okay, let's just go through the chords.
It's really easy. It's all the basic chords.
I can't get there fast enough.
Does everybody know all these chords? They're pretty basic.
Yeah, I mean, F
Yeah.
is always a struggle, but yeah. At least not always, but
Okay, just to do the barred or to do the.
yeah, right now.
Okay,
yeah.
all right.
Yeah, getting the.
Your fingers will get
yeah,
used to it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Dambara?
What's another
Yeah.
way to? Oh, go. for
Sorry.
it.
Oh, just E minor. Is it 5 or
You tell me. what's the bottom? What's the root of an E
So
minor?
it's an E.
Also, it's 6.
Whether it's an E minor, E major, E majors doesn't matter. It's all E.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and the top string is E.
Yeah.
So if it's an A, the top string's A.
Uh huh.
A minor is A.
Yep.
Oh.
What's another one?
Not O. There's no.
That was good.
No, O chord.
So if you
people
go from
thought.
F, isn't there like another way to play G, like somewhere here?
You can. If you're doing an F thing and you have a G, you can just slide it up to a G.
To here?
Yeah.
Like because this one is
What is
like.
that?
This is G.
Ta-da!
What are you doing?
Ray with a great-
Enlightened.
Can you
And
do
then
it?
G.
F and G.
So this is what like jazz guitarists do, is that they know what all these chords are that they can play everywhere. You know, just by barring and stuff.
That's actually easier. Sometimes
Yeah.
to go to like.
But yeah, so whatever's easiest and whatever sounds good, you know. But if you're doing a quick change or something,
Yeah.
you just
Like
have to
this
sing.
one is like. Here.
Okay, now here we have something. Yeah. So are you talking about Brave the Great Warriors?
Yeah, warriors.
Hey.
Okay, frankly, I've never tried that, so that's a whole new
Okay.
Say it
thing.
again.
All right, so
And the second
Brave the Great Warriors. So
Oh.
what she's saying is, Brave the Great Warriors.
Oh, look at
That's
that.
easier.
You know?
Then,
Do you still like it?
I like it. Sure. As long as if I'm used to doing a bar F.
So what I've found is like these quick switches where it's like you don't have time for the note once you strum it to like breathe a little bit. It's just a quick.
Yeah.
It's just a little touch.
But just like singing, try to get as much out of the chord as you can. So hold on to it as long as you can, instead of just getting off it real quick. Because it's like kids when they sing, they don't have much breath, so it's like it's real short.
Right.
But you want to be able to give it its due as much as you
And
can.
I assume once you learn the pieces of music and get comfortable with it, then I can elongate this even a
Yeah.
millisecond
You
longer.
know how long you have,
Yeah. Right.
how long it's going to take you to find that other chord. Or if you're like,
She just finds
just gonna
another way.
zoom,
Yeah. That's
Okay.
simple for you.
so from the top. Now, as we strum this, try to strum, just the notes in the chord. So if you're doing 4 notes, try to do just those 4. If you're doing a bar, then you can do all of them. So here we go.
Are we doing an intro?
Stop. Pray for the people who live in these hills. Brave the great warriors who confronted the foe. To defend what is holy, to defend what is true. Our Lord of mankind in his beauty bestow. That's fun.
Fun.
Practice
Yeah.
that.
That's fun.
F, E minor, D minor, C.
That's fun. Can you do it normally? I just want to see the pace that you do it.
Beauty
Pace
bestow.
fast.
Yeah, but you know how you do that? You do it 10 times, you do it 20 times. You get your hands used to it. Try to do it as clean as you can.
So when you're learning a song, or when you were learning the song, you would just work on switches. Get the switches strong.
Over and over.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And if you can't do it, then don't play all the chords. Just play the important ones.
Like in this, what would you say the important ones are?
Lord of mankind did his duty bestow. If you have to. But I wouldn't.
That's what it says
I wouldn't
here.
lang on that F chord all the time because it might conflict with the other chords if somebody else is changing.
Oh, I see. Right.
Just hang,
You do
just
F
hang
what?
back.
What is it? Say it again. Do the last part again.
If you can't do that quick change, duty bestow.
Ours
That
just
it's not
doesn't
here.
have that.
Yeah,
Oh.
the E minor is not there.
There's just F.
Well, see,
You do like
so
C.
somebody is that the Ananda songbook?
Yeah.
yeah.
So they probably thought, okay, let's
So you
make this
said
easier
D.
for folks.
Oh wow.
We just took out the E
That's
minor.
nice.
Look at that.
But what you're doing is like
You're doing
so you do
optional.
F, E minor,
I'm doing
F,
bestow. And you know what that is? It's probably mimicking
This
the
pit.
original recording with like Derek Bell on the harp or David
I
Miller
know,
on the keyboard.
Oh
because you can do more changes that way. But then when you're translating it to guitar changes, you know, you can simplify it.
Well, your voice changes. I mean, your voice goes up there where you put an E.
Yeah,
You're
look at
talking
this.
about between that F and C, you put an E.
Oh,
What is it?
Oh, so it's in.
where's
Just
duty?
just
So,
don't.
Ours is
yes,
Right.
E minor.
So
Oh,
you would sing it that
Oh, but
way.
it sounds so good.
so it's a F, E minor, D minor, C. Yeah. So just simplify it.
Where can I get your version?
Yeah. Like, is it the non-music
On Ananda Library,
Just down
Ananda Music Library,
Yeah.
and look for the tablet version of the guitar chords.
Okay.
Dambara?
Yeah.
So is it all like, is it do, 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 so do you
Yes.
just do down, 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 down then?
It depends.
Oh.
If I can hold my hand there long enough, I'll play more than one strum. So I'll probably move. So there's no. Yeah, that's fine. And you know, another thing you'll find out when you just start doing it, you'll find out which ones you can get away with hitting the strings when you're moving from one chord to another. It just sounds good or it doesn't. But that'll come.
That's when the feeling of it comes, right?
Yeah. And David, to answer your question, where you find it often is in the original choir sheet music that has chords on it. Sometimes that may have more complex chords than the songbook, you know, sometimes. Okay, let's do verse 2. Glad all our children